You may have heard of the late Tony Shea share, hire and fire based on the culture you want to create, regardless of performance. And that single statement was the biggest breakthrough for me when I grew past $10 million a year in revenue. And if you're in that stage of a business life cycle, most likely focused on better supporting your leadership team, a desire to help them step up. So let me share my personal success story, which was ended in an absolute culture failure, and how Tony Shea in his book, Delivering Happiness, totally set me free. I'm going to cut to the chase, and I'm going to tell you, in hindsight, it was totally my ego. It was a desire of being significant, my desire to be surrounded by people that was just like me, and I was totally 100% oblivious of it at that time. You see, I was partnered with a few business titans, true gurus in the marketplace, people that I looked up to as the greatest. And you know what? They started calling me the greatest. Top sales trainer out there calling me the greatest salesperson that he'd ever met in his entire business career. Top educator and speaker telling me that my educational-based sales model that I created was the best in the world. And I share that model that they emulate to this day in my book, Mastering Workshops That Sell. So how did that affect my environment, myself and my team, the culture that I was impacting? I desired to hire sales stars that were like me, and I got good at it, and I was proud of it. I had 100 of the finest sales stars. Seriously, these people who were so good, they would, like, the people we'd let go would be typically better than most people's best reps. That's how good they were. So the effect of creating that type of a culture was absolute fast growth, meaning we double sales year after year after year. And so that fed my ignorance. So one day I'm at Business Mastery, this event. Tony Shea's on stage sharing this sentiment once again from stage. But this is like the fourth time I heard it. But this is the fourth time I finally got it, meaning two distinctions from that single sentence that kept me from scaling was hire and fire based on the culture you want to create regardless of performance. Part one of that is hire and fire based on the culture you want to create. So if you build a culture based on rare achievers, you too may grow year after year. Like we were at 3 million to 7 to 17 million, 17 to 34 million, and you're going to find you too may hit a self-created plateau. So let me explain to you the support your leadership team. You know you need to create better systems, meaning systems make life easier for your management team. But I had created a culture to where my model was built on the backs of sales superstars only. And it was time to pivot away towards a system where good salespeople could have great success versus only the best. And that leads us to part two. Part two of that sentence is hire and fire based on the culture you want to create regardless of performance. And oh shit, I mean, regardless of performance means you're letting go of those that make you the most money. I mean, that's so difficult. I mean, they were the warriors that got you to where you're at, and they were the ones that were in the trenches with you during the toughest times, but now you're talking about letting them go? Why? The 10% difference they had culturally based on what you desire and where they were heading, it didn't feel like much in the first year, but man, that compounds 10% and 10% and 10% month after month, a year after year, 2-3 years later, you suddenly are going to feel like you're on a completely different planet. And boy, I wish I knew these distinctions between growth and scale way back then. If I knew of the freedoms that culture set up for managers to win based on the backs of solid systems versus the backs of rail superstars, how rewarding that could be. Boy, I mean, Tony knew it, but I had to learn it through the school of hard knocks and be forged in fire. So if you'd like to avoid hitting that $30 million a year plateau and move through growth into scale, comment TPA or DM me, and I'll share with you my proprietary TPA process. This is the one model that can help you leverage momentum to create systems that serve you and the greater good versus what? Militant reinforcement of policies to your team, which is most likely counterculture, meaning you really want to be known as the man. So reply TPA and I'll see you on the inside.